I like talking to people, kind of being their therapist and talking through mental health and stuff like that. And we would never say to somebody else the negative things that we say to ourselves, right? But one thing I realized last night and this morning is when you're coaching somebody and somebody makes strides and they do things well, what do you tell them? Great job, all your hard work paid off, etc. We're not doing that to ourselves. And I did that this morning. I'm like, all right, Jared's gonna coach Jared. Look how far you've come. Look at everything that you're doing. All those times where I was weak or I struggled, whatever, that's when God got the best out of me. I just put my coaching hat on for me for a minute and I was like, good for you. Anytime something is thrown your way, it might not be the best way, but you handle it, you deal with it, you don't go run and hide, you figure out a way to get back on top. Look how far you've come. And so I would say that I would challenge you to do the same for yourself. Coach yourself sometimes too. It was a good feeling. Let's stop and acknowledge everything that you've done so far.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shelly Panzarella Show. Today's episode is very, very unique. I have my partner in crime, business partner here with us, Jared Penn, but I'm not going to be interviewing him today. I'm actually going to have this as an open dialogue. We're going to talk about things from our business planning for our company, things that we've done in the past year, what 2025 looked like and what 2026 is going to look like. And honestly, when we get together, we really just jam and conversation can flow all over the place. So without further ado, let me just welcome Mr. Jared Penn, my co-host.
Hello, yes, your co-host.
My co-host for the day.
Part of your round table or square table.
Exactly, the square table. So I wanted to kind of kick things off with really talking about our business in 2025. Let's start there. I feel like we can take a good look at what 2025 was for us. How was it for you?
So just speaking for myself, 2025 was a down year for me as far as production, but an amazing year for just personal growth. So I spent last year as almost like, say like we tried to think of this word at the Christmas party. And
Redefine, what was it like?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a re-something,
rebirth.
Re-something. And so I feel like that was my 2025 is just kind of changing my ways and kind of out with some of the old and in with the new. Getting me ready for 2026 is kind of how I feel. So I'm heading into 2026 more motivated with a clearer vision of where I want to go and what I want to do. And so that's why, I'm really excited about this year. But 2025 was just more about, me changing some things in my personal life.
Yeah. You've been in the business, 21 years. So in the 21 years, last year was really the only time that you really felt like the personal growth aspect of it?
So some things changed in my life professionally, and last year felt like one of my first years in the industry. I had to kind of go back to some of the basics. I had to take my business in a different path. And so it was almost like, for lack of a better term, starting over again. Even though I wasn't, it felt that way.
Yeah.
Learning to do things that I had learned 20 years ago and kind of refining those and coming up with some better ideas.
I would agree. I think for 2025, it wasn't I did better than 2024. Transaction-wise, maybe like a few more families we helped, but I do feel like 2025 was more about lifting others up, because I don't know if 24 was like a complete reset. I think I went through the personal growth aspect in 24.
I agree, yeah.
Then 25 became, okay, I need to help other people lift up through this process as well, kind of like what you do in the past. But I felt a little bit of the momentum leading into 2025. And then to your point, I do feel like 2026 is going to be, a even better year.
Yeah.
Just based off of, I think a lot of people are also feeling good about this year.
I feel like more people I talk to are giving more of an effort within the last 3 to 6 months than they were for the previous 2 years.
Yeah.
Just with the people that I know and that we've been talking to. So yeah, I definitely feel like more people are leaning into 2026.
Yeah. Well, I know last year, you came in like mid-year into the community calls that we had? Was it like?
No, I think it was the beginning of the year because we went through 2 books.
Okay, so we did Full Fee Agent.
Full Fee Agent. So
and
whenever
then,
you started that, we did that one, and then we went right into
Q2.
the Ninja Selling.
Yeah, and so what did that do for you, and what was your perception of that community call?
I thought it was great. I still think it was great. I'm glad that we're still doing things like that. For me, and I've told you this privately and some other people privately, I might as well just share it right now.
It's going all over the world, global.
2025 and doing those book clubs with you in that community gave me faith in my industry again. And I hope I'm saying that right, because I feel more passionately about it than I'm actually saying it. And so I don't want to do it a disservice. Your community that you put together changed a lot of my beliefs in real estate agents, some mortgage lenders, some clients, and then again, just our industry as a whole. So I think it's been great. And I also think that helped in a lot of what I was trying to redo in myself and change. That was a huge help.
Yeah, I think even watching you grow, getting into it, and then as we've gone through it, I saw that personal. I mean, I obviously can see that with or without the call, but even going through that, the shift in you, just in having the sense of, I think almost what I felt too was like we're here to help them, who's part of the community call, but at the same time, it's helping lift us up too.
Yeah.
And really for no other purpose than to have collaboration, connection with like-minded individuals. A majority of them are realtors, right, on the call. So
Yeah.
And then the books have been great. I mean, some of the stuff that we've learned from there have been things that we've implemented in our business, right?
Absolutely. And not even the books that we read; those were great too. But there have been other shared books from that community to one another that we've read, and I know I gave you one today, not necessarily from that community, but other books that we're all reading separate from that have been shared amongst the community as well, and those have helped as well.
Yeah, and I do feel like that's one thing that's missing. I think with everything, I've gone down this I don't know, spiral as far as AI. This, everything is AI intelligence, and I looking even at our community, like there's real people, real realtors, real lenders that are working to be, just the better versions of themselves, and then applying that and taking that out to the public. And I don't think I wish there were more people like that, I guess I would say, because I don't know that we're the masses. Would you agree on that?
I've seen a shift. I would say 2 years ago, it was all AI, technology, AI. I mean, that's all you heard. I feel like within the last 6 to 9 months, I talked to more people who are understanding the more personal approach, picking up the phone, calling them, telling them happy birthday, telling them Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, instead of just setting it and running with it. Now, again, that could be just limited because I don't go out and talk to 1,000 real estate agents, but I feel like the ones that we talk to have been focused more on the personal touch, wanting to talk to a human being, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I think that's part of our structure right now as far as the I don't even like calling it database, but that's really what it is, right?
Yeah.
And what we're doing is connecting back with our past clients. So maybe we can talk a little bit about what that looked like in 2025, because I feel like for myself personally, thanks to you really helped me get motivated, re-energized into that connection aspect. And so talk a little bit about what that looked like for you.
Yeah, one thing I just to jump back, I didn't want to cut you off, but I did want to say, for as long as I've been a mortgage lender, it was you're only going to engage with real estate agents if you want to work with them. We're giving clients back and forth. This past 12 months for me, I've realized some of these people I may not work with, but they're good friends and they're good mentors and they're good spiritual avenues and things like that. And so I just wanted to make sure I touched on that. So any mortgage lenders that are listening or real estate agents, it's okay to just meet other good, like-minded people. You don't have to, one guy I met, he's a great guy. His wife is a mortgage lender. I know that there will never be business coming to me from him, but that doesn't stop me in still wanting to be friends with him and learn from him and have him learn from me. So I just want to make sure I added that, because that was another shift in mindset for me last year. Is you don't just have to go after real estate agents you want to work with. meet good people,
Yeah.
whether they're a realtor or a CPA or a doctor or just another mortgage lender. Just meet good people, surround yourself with good people, and that can't not go well for you.
Well, don't you think I feel like, I mean, we've been in the business, 20-ish years. So that shift is different, right? Because in the very beginning, it was not that way. I just remember it was all about the hustle and grind and, trying to get the next deal, like literally talking to realtors for a deal. That was all that I was looking for as a client, to your point, I don't, like everybody that's on the call, my expectation is not about getting a transaction from them. Will we? Hopefully. Do we? Sometimes, right? But it's not about that at all.
But you got to understand, I think that's us. And I think that maybe comes with maturity. I don't know. Or maybe it's not even so much maturity. I think it's just we've made a decision that we're not going to do business the way that it's always been done. I mean, we have recruits come in and sit down with us, and they're looking to get not tutored, mentored. Thank you. And we ask them, well, how's it going? Like, where have you been? What are you doing? And they all say the same thing, which is the old school. They sit down, they give me some business cards. They say, call your sphere of influence, go pop into open houses, just go do all this stuff and kind of trial by fire, throw them right in. And so I don't necessarily know that it's a shift in the market. I think it's a shift in us where we're going, we just want to meet good people. Whether I work with you ever or not. I know one of the people, Tamara, I'll bring her up, she'll hear this, but I don't work with her at all. She's a relationship that you've had forever, and I love it. And I tell my wife, when Tamara talks on these calls, you just start smiling like an idiot. You don't even know why, just because of how she's talking about whatever it is that she is discussing, whether it's her grandchild or her business or her former pet or anything. And just you feel her emotion. She's just a bubbly human being. And there are more people like that on the call as well. But I remember telling my wife, you got to meet this person. I don't know why. You just have to meet this person. And I want her to, see her on one of these calls. And so that's, I think, more unique to us. That's not what we hear in the mortgage industry right now when we go out and talk to people. They're still very much old school, be protective. They don't want to give you too much information. You might try to steal my people. And we're like, look, I don't care what it is that you do. I just want to meet good people.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to make us better versions of ourselves to meet good people.
I agree. And maybe that's it, right? It's nobody's teaching that.
Right.
Like, and even the people, because we did have a couple of people who wanted to come on, join our team as like juniors with us. We shared with them what our I don't want to call it platform, but what it is that we do today. And they chose to go to different lenders, right? Because it wasn't in the norm for them. Could you imagine what your business would look like if we started, not to say that we didn't do this before, but to the way that we're doing it today, could you imagine what the business would look like if we started?
Not only would I have potentially been more successful, I would have been a lot less stressed.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot less fear and anxiety and uncertainness as to what direction I'm headed, because it feels like real estate and lending for a long time is just you're reinventing the wheel every month. Like you have a big month, you can't even enjoy it because, well, what do you got next month? What do you have 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead? If I had been doing it more like this from the beginning, that fear is eliminated because, hey, you know what you need to do. Just come in and do these things and don't worry about the rest. Just have faith that it's all going to pay off. And so I know it's not good for us to look back, but in your rhetorical question of can you imagine what it would have looked like, I think it would have been a lot happier, a lot less stressed.
Yeah.
We might still have more friends than we have right now.
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I always feel like total different conversation, but people are in our lives for a season,
a reason, or a lifetime.
Or a lifetime. Yeah. And I do feel like those are all growing stages for those who are not with us still,
I'm also of the belief too that sometimes you have to prune the tree.
Yeah.
And let go of some of the old stuff that doesn't serve you anymore, whether they're people or feelings or business partners or whatever, so that you have space and opportunity to bring more in. And so I know I'm spacing on his name. Jay Shetty talks about that in Think Like a Monk. You got to let go of this past, and not just so much people, but emotions and feelings and things that might have hurt you when you were a kid or years ago. You got to let that go so that you can be open for new stuff to come in, new opportunities.
Yeah, I would echo that also, but also throw out, if you want a good book, Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk, very good. He also reads it on Audible, which I love.
Yes.
So it's almost like you're talking to him or hearing him. Obviously, you're hearing him, but that's a great version of it to listen to in the car and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely made me think on that one.
Some books, as I do Audible and I read, some books you're like, oh, I wish I would have read this myself because they're putting me to sleep. And then some, like Jay Shetty's, is good to hear him in his own voice, and you can kind of feel his passion in certain areas when he's reading the book.
Yeah.
He feels strongly about certain things. You know?
I agree.
So
I agree, and it's such a well written, well read book. But there'd be one. I'm sure we'll go through a couple as we go through this podcast. But one thing that I thought about last year, 2025. So that really marked the 10-year for me, for you and I coming out of, like at First Cal, it was, I was in management. Mm-hmm. You were sales manager, right? And then we made we made the decision. I know I made a huge decision to step away from the management aspect to go into, originating and managing, and then we went into the partnership. To your point, we had to prune some, do some different things going through that partnership as well. But I was thinking about what 10 years ago was like for us, and even in just the industry, and getting started again, I was doing those note cards. I remember sitting down, Gabby and Myra were behind me, and we were in this little space, and that is all I had was to do my little note cards for every little pre-qual that I did. And here I'm back at it doing note cards. Yeah. I mean, obviously, completely different level, but think about 10 years ago and what the market looked like then for us, what our team looked like then.
Everything was different.
We were also talking about like how we used to have fun. Not fun. I that's not the right thing, but we would take Frosty Fridays. We'd have. So that is maturity, I feel like, too.
100%. Yeah. And old age.
And old age. But think about what it was like for us to make that big kind of decision to jump out, go into our own operation, setting up our team and our business. And I remember, obviously, we had great leadership at the time going to Citywide. They gave us a lot of encouragement and allowed us to do the things that we're doing today, which we still do, a lot of it. Is there anything specific to that 10 years ago that you remember and that, brings back good memories for you?
I mean, there are good memories with some of the bad. Citywide was awesome. I mean, had they not gone through the selling and some of the transition that they had to go through, I don't know that I'd be sitting here in this office today.
Yeah, true.
But everything happens for a reason, and being here with Chris, I can't imagine ever working anywhere else. But what stands out to me the most from the past several years, even going back further than 10, is you and I and whoever we were working with at the time always just knew in our heads, like, we know what the right formula is. Mm-hmm. We know how to take care of people. We know where things need to be, because it's easy to get caught up in the corporate world of play games with margins and rates and play games with investors and, not really take care of the client. And the one thing that stands out, and that's why I don't think none of this was ever risky for me as we've moved along and moved up. Any of the stress that I've ever had in real estate was never because of the moves, because I just knew it in my heart that we're going where we're supposed to be going. We know what we need to do, and as long as we stayed strong, then nothing would matter. And it's gotten us here now with Chris, and it's been a blessing. And he's amazing, amazing guy to work for.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the one thing that stood out is we trusted ourselves and how we know it should be run, and we followed banked on ourselves, bet on
Yeah.
ourselves, you know.
Well, and I do think that because as we've taken on new loan officers and such, we are different than, I mean, and they know it, right? But we've also had a few who've left and come back and said, hey, that your system really works when you lean into our system. And not to say that our system is completely different, but it is different, you know,
Yeah.
different than what most lenders, banks, mortgage banks, or brokers, how they operate, you know.
I'd say our system as far as originating is similar. I think what's different is how we take care of the client. Like what we're
I agree.
really looking to do is to make an impact in people's lives. There's, I don't know, 1,000 mortgage lenders out there that can take a loan application, do a loan. I'm not a heart surgeon. A lot of people can do it, but can people do it the way that we do it, where we're asking those forward questions we want to know about their family? We're sending bereavement cards when somebody passes away. We're telling them, hey, now is not the time to refinance. Don't do this. Here's what I would do if you were my brother, my sister, my mother, my father. I know for a fact those are conversations that other lenders aren't having. They're going, I'll beat any rate that you can get, just use me. They're not following up after the fact. They're sure as heck not following up 2 or 3 years down the road to make sure there's, is there an opportunity to save more money for that customer? And so our systems are all very similar to mortgage. I think it's us and our team.
I agree.
Specific to you and I on what we really, we've said this before. We want to leave the industry in a better place than what we got it in.
Yeah.
And we're far away from that. But it starts with you and I changing our ways, and then other people, maybe gravitating towards that, or us going out and helping other people then change their ways. And so that would be a way where I feel like we could change the industry or leave it in a better place than what we found it in.
Yeah. Well, I think even with our team, right? Like they are better. We are better because of them, but they've grown because of what we've wanted to have that experience, wanted to have, even for our team, to have them be part of that experience aspect of it too. I don't know that they would have had the same type of relationship or growth that they've had with us, with any other organization.
I would agree. And it goes back to what we said, when we see people leave and come back, or even people interviewing, how they're treated and taken care of at other organizations is not the same.
Yeah.
And again, we've seen it when we go out and talk to some of these other companies and division heads. It's a little different.
Yeah.
So, and that's what makes me love Chris so much more, is you and I brought a lot of this stuff to him over the past several years, and not just us. There's other people in the organization, and now they're full steam ahead. I mean, they're doing a lot of what we talked about. There are great sales activities, but there's also personal growth activities here that I think are equally, if not more important, to help people, because this is such a stressful industry.
Well, let's talk about that, because I do feel like people think that our jobs are super easy. We just answer the phone, ask a few questions, run it through a system, pull credit, and boom, you're good, or you're green light or red light. Mm-hmm. But there's the other aspect of the stress. You want to talk a little bit about some things that had made you stressful over the years?
I would say for some people in the industry, as you just stated, that is life. It's not very stressful. I go to work and I take an application, I put it in, it either gets approved or it doesn't, and then I just move on with my life and I get paid. What's always been different for me, and I'll speak for myself, I mean, and I know you're the same way, is we truly care. And I know that sounds cliche, but because I care so much, I take a lot of the stress on myself. And that's not healthy. I'm not, for nobody should do that, but I'm just saying that's where a lot of my stress came from. And there were times where I'd be getting 100 phone calls a day, and it would start from the minute I woke up until the minute I went to bed. The phone never stopped ringing. And if I sent one person a voicemail, when I called that person back, 3 more came in.
Yeah.
And the stress of having to make sure I got back to everybody within the same day, because that's how I was. I also didn't want them to feel any pain as far as, oh, you took too long. Being a people pleaser, and maybe wearing too much of other people's emotions on myself, that's a recipe for disaster. I've learned over the years, well, first off, I'm not doing 50 loans a month anymore, so that's a help.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
But I've learned over the years, you can't do that. You just absolutely can't do that. You set your hours in a day. You do the best that you can. It's okay sometimes for other people to feel pain. Some of my best growth in my life was me feeling pain. So in essence, if I'm preventing somebody else around me from feeling pain, I'm also preventing them from growing.
True.
And so it's a crazy, sick way to look at it, but that's one thing that I'm better about today is if I can't answer the phone. I mean, I've lost real estate relationships because I won't answer my phone when I'm in something like this. They couldn't wrap their brains around that, and I always felt it was respecting. If you're sitting with somebody, a client, a business partner, whatever, you're on their time. Respect their time.
Yeah.
Put your phone away. Don't answer the phone. And I've had a lot of people complain either I was too busy or you don't answer your phone when you're with other people, and I just always felt that it was a respecting. But instead of understanding that at the time, I would take on that emotion and beat myself up for it.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of stress came from. So you ask, I mean, our industry is stressful, but I think it's how are you as an originator or a leader or as a Christian or a human being, do you care about people? That's where the stress comes from. I do know a lot of mortgage originators that haven't had the stress that I've had. They just don't care as much as I do. And so this could be a decent career for people. You make a little bit of money. If you don't care how your performance is, you probably won't be as stressed as some other people other than when you don't make enough money. But I think for the people that really, really do care, there is a higher level of stress. And for those reasons.
Well, I also don't think it's sustainable for you to not care. You know what I mean? Like if you're just a transaction, maybe you could sustain because you would just keep going through the 15,000 realtors that are out there to try to get a transaction, so to speak, but not the level of growth and production. And I know, we're like, well, we came from 50 loans a month to, trying to dial in, getting a 10, 5 to 10, right? But I don't know that it would be the same, you know what I mean? If we didn't have, it would just be a different, I don't think it would be sustainable. I think we're obviously here for the long run.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make a good career out of this job, then yeah, you want to care. You have to care.
You do.
But there are a couple people that come to mind that just reinvent the wheel every month and they don't really, I don't want to say they don't care, but they're not concerned with a perfect transaction and they're like, yeah, they'll use me again or they won't, and I'll just go find another agent or I'll go and find another buyer.
Yeah.
And those people struggle a lot more, but maybe they're less stressed. I don't know. I mean, time will tell. I feel like there's got to be a good combination of you really do care like we do, and then doing things a certain way. And this is kind of segue into what we've been talking about for 2026. I feel like there's a good way where you can still care a lot and not stress yourself out to the extent of having panic attacks or depression or anything like that. That's my hope.
Yeah, I think some of the stress that a lot of realtors and lenders feel is the stress of chasing the commission. Mm-hmm. And I do agree. There's also the stress. That's a totally different level of stress that people probably don't even tap into because they're just so transactional that they don't even look at it as a relationship aspect, or they don't take on any onus of, like you said, hey, I care that the transaction goes well for my clients. I care that we can get it done based on what I said I can get it, the way that I can get it done. And so I feel like that aspect of it, too many people are so worried about where the next paycheck comes from. But I think a lot of the stuff that we've put into place really, I can't say prevents it, but it definitely helps you to gauge that. I mean, reading that ninja selling, there was a thing that came out. One of the statements in there was that your database, for every person in your database, that should earn you $1,000 per year, right?
Yep.
Per person or per client. That number for both you and I, we were like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I don't know that resonated even with our community. Right. They didn't pick up on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I do feel like there's a different the reason our stress level is at a different place, and not to say here or there, but we're not really chasing the money. And it's not to say that we don't want the money or we don't need the money, but it's not our priority is not the right word. It's not our plan today. We're not, we know the outcome, but we're not really focusing on the outcome right now.
Well, priority is a good word. Yeah, we're not going out there. We shouldn't be going, I'm going to make these 5 calls. I have to get a deal today.
Yeah.
Call until somebody gives you a deal or hangs up on you or whatever. We're about planting seeds. Like, and we've talked because it's hard. It is hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have it all together. Like, it's hard to make calls and do the activities that we do day in and day out and have a week or a week and a half go by and there's not an opportunity to get a deal. And that's where you and I will pick up the phone, and sometimes I'll call you or some other people will call us, and our advice to them is reassuring to us. Just focus on what your job is, plant the seeds, do it the right way. You know it eventually it'll pay off, and then having faith that it's all going to go the way it's supposed to go. Easier said than done. There are times, like I said, where a week goes by, a week and a half, and you're like, man, I hope some of this starts to pop. And that's where we have to kind of reassure ourselves that, hey, just do what you do. Everything else will work out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I did a podcast with Chelsea Cade, which will be aired before this one. So if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But in 2025, she doubled her production. And I asked her what the number one thing was that changed her, that got her there. And she said she had more conversations. And when I asked her, well, what do you mean by that? She focused on 10 conversations every day. Mm-hmm. And she was out the door by 6:00. Like those are the 2 goals that she had, 10 phone calls and out by 6 so she can be with her family. Some days she hit 8, some days she hit 11, some days she hit 10, but it was always 10 phone calls, conversations. And that's all she focused on.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, she looked back and said, wow, if that I could do that again, right, next year, 2026. But she wasn't stressed about what was going to happen. She just knew if I put in the work, then, like you said, if I'm planting the seeds, I'll reap the harvest. Yep. So that's really hard for a lot of people, though.
It is. I was actually going to say that a minute ago. What's so surprising to me is people in our industry, real estate and lending, they're always looking for the next thing that people are doing. Mm-hmm. But they're so uncomfortable to pick up the phone call and talk to people that they've already worked with to say hello.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To me, I think it's more uncomfortable to go learn something new and then spend the money for it, knowing that it's going to take forever to pay off.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever known of a get-rich-quick scheme that's ever worked out really for anybody unless they're doing the wrong things?
No,
right?
We'd all be millionaires if so, right? Let's chase those.
So why are they so uncomfortable with picking up the phone and calling a client that bought a home from them 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Most of those people, and it can be uncomfortable, but as I've talked to most of those people, they answer the phone like, hey, Jared, how's it going? And you're like shocked that they even remember you.
Remember me?
It was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to tell another little story here real quick. And I hope this is the right time to say it because I don't want us to, we're going to finish quick. This time's going quicker than I thought. and I don't want to not get to this story. So, and I hope it's okay that I bring a little spirituality in this.
Yeah.
So I've been praying a lot to God, recently as I've been doing my, reborn or whatever it is this still where I'm supposed to be? And listen, we'd all love for God to come down and pop in here right now and say, hey, Shelly. And you go, oh my gosh, it doesn't happen that way. So I think for me, he speaks through other people or events or signs or whatnot. And I had a customer that I'm helping with a HELOC the other day. He called me up and I thought he was calling about the loan and he wasn't. He was just not feeling well. So like a stomach ache. And so I kept giving him more rope to go like, okay, this is leading back somehow to his HELOC. I don't know what's going on. Nothing to do with his HELOC. And he goes, listen, I just want to tell you, and he goes, I'm not trying to like pour this on, but you've come into my life over the last 15 years 5 times. Aww. And he said, every time you've come into my life, you've fixed my problem and made it better for me, my wife, and my family every single time.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh my gosh, if that's not my sign, I don't know what is, that I'm still for whatever reason, supposed to be here in this industry. I say that for real estate agents and lenders that are listening or might come across this. Your people want to hear from you. You changed their life at some point. We do this all day, so we look at it as like, I'm not a heart surgeon, right? Like when I said anybody can do it, maybe I'm not giving us enough credit. It's not an easy job, and we are very good at it. And realtors, you are as well. The good ones are. Call your customers. They want to hear from you. They might be in a really bad spot again, and they're needing somebody to either get them out of that, or they're needing advice, or they just need a friendly person to talk to that they can trust. And so more than having commission breath, that's why we should be making those calls. If you truly care, our past clients, some of them are suffering. 70% are paycheck to paycheck in this country. Some of those people are going to need to sell. Some of those people are going to need to, fix their life somehow and utilize their house. Some of those people just need somebody to trust it, the shoulder to cry on. And so if you're not calling your past clients, let me tell you right now, let go of the thought of it being uncomfortable, because some of those people are praying to God somebody calls them so that they can talk through this with somebody. That person is you. You're the professional that they trust.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that was okay for me to throw that in there. But I really feel like not only is it silly to just let go of our past clients in pursuit of something that may or may not work, something new, shiny object, but they really need us. And I'm seeing that now as I'm making these calls. And so I want to make sure that we hit that before we finish.
No, and I appreciate you bringing that up for two reasons. So the faith aspect, which I do want to make sure that we talk about, maybe that's what we'll end with. But I also feel like, excuse me, I also feel like people are so afraid, to your point of like, oh, it's been 3 years, I haven't talked to him. Or there's the other ones that are like, well, I talk to them all the time, but I'm sending them a flyer, I'm sending them, a recipe, or I have, one of my list reports or whatever. It's all just about real estate. They're never making the intention of like truly connecting with their clients.
Right.
And then the one time that they decide, like I was talking to an agent of mine, and she's like, I found out that one of my clients' husband passed away, and so I wanted to send them flowers or a plant. And then immediately in her head, she's like, but then I don't want them to think that I'm selling to them. You know what I mean? But I'm like, well, you should go from your heart and do what you feel is right. But maybe if that's how you feel, you think your clients are feeling that way, you need to figure out a way to change that so that every phone call isn't about you selling.
Right.
And I think part of that is having these forward conversations, which honestly, that Ninja Selling book for me helped me understand and identify how to have those conversations. Because it's hard to be picking up the phone and, hey, I haven't talked to you for 3 years. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Because they're automatically like, what do you want?
Yeah.
But then to your point, we've also done a lot of different things like the note cards and the birthday cards that they should remember us when we're calling.
Yep.
And then as long as we're doing it from a place of love, from a place of giving and serving and listening, I think that's a huge shift for agents, that they have to get over that mindset of like, well, I don't know what to talk to them about.
Right. Yeah. Not that this is a podcast for Ninja. I know we've brought up a lot.
Yeah.
But anybody looking, and I've told a couple real estate agents this lately, is anybody that just doesn't know what direction they're headed or where to go or where to start, I'm telling you, pick up this book, whether you're a lender or a real estate agent. It gives you the playbook. If you just do nothing else but follow what they tell you to do, you will start gaining more income within the first 6 to 9 months. It would be impossible not to. That's how easy they make it. Yeah. Not that what you do is easy, but that's how easy they make the formula.
And as long as you do the work, we're already starting to see that activities are starting to breed production. But even that $1,000, like I want to make that $1,000 per database a reality so that I can say I am one of the success stories because I did everything you said. And here we are now, end of the year or 2 years or whatever it might be. And I am in flow and I am earning the income that you set out, or you said that we would be earning based off of the $1,000 per client,
Yeah, it puts you in a different mindset too. I mean,
Yeah.
just the other day, and this is not a success story. This is a failure story on my part. Is I recently threw a birthday party for my wife, and it was at a location here in town, and I went to go pick up some of the stuff from the party. I don't know, a couple weeks later, just the other day, and as I'm setting up the party for the month leading up to, I talked to this woman 4 or 5 times a week. I mean, she knows who I am now. We know each other's face. She'll never forget my name. I'll never forget hers. And as I went to pick this stuff up, I put it in my car and I started to drive off. And I said, I should have given her my business card and said, if you ever need anything with mortgage, to give me a call. I'm so used to just talking to realtors about business.
Yeah.
I missed it. Now I can always go back. It's near my house and just say, hey, I want to make sure I give you a card. That's what this book teaches you is there are missed opportunities that we all have every single day of our lives.
Yeah.
People want to talk to us about real estate or their home, and we're just missing the opportunity. And so I do need to go back and rectify that, but I wouldn't have even thought that 2 years ago before I read the book, and I've read it now twice.
Right.
Those are the type of things that it teaches you to do.
Yeah. Well, so not to name drop the book, but that's the second book that we've talked about. I will also say this. We are in a community of like-minded agents who are talking through and we are working through implementing and executing on the Ninja 9 and the main elements of the book. So anybody out there who's listening to this, if you want to join the call with us and be part of this group that's growing together to do it, please message us or connect with Jared or myself because we would be happy to have you part of the group. I do want to shift gears to 2026.
Okay.
I know we were talking a lot about that, but I want to know, we got a few minutes, right?
Yeah, I was just making sure we're good.
I want to know, what your plans are. I know a lot of it is the connection database, but specifically, what are your plans heading into 2026?
For me personally, it is absolutely, I don't know if it's Ninja 9, it might be Ninja 4 or 5, but it's really touching my past clients not once or twice a year, but like 6 or 7, and finding ways to do that. It's also budgeting better. I'll give you some personal stuff. I mean, we waste a lot of stuff in my house that, we just don't need anymore. We really never needed and probably just didn't even realize we had stuff going out. So it's to budget more, be a little smarter there. And then to meet more good people that share the same interest and beliefs, whether they're real estate professionals or not. I do want to meet new real estate agents. I'm okay with the fact that 50% of them may not like me at all, but I don't want that 50% to prevent me from meeting the 1 or 2 that really do like me and we get along well, and we could help each other down the road. So that would be where I would say my 2026 is really honing in on my past clients, really taking care of them and doing a good job, and then getting out there meeting new people that are kind of meant to be in my life for this next season, reason, or lifetime.
Yeah, I love that. I would definitely say that for myself, first of all, the budgeting aspect of it. So in January, I do Whole30, which is one thing, which is an elimination of certain foods and whatever. But I also eliminated Amazon, which I posted on social media, and everybody's like, so what does that mean? You're going to go into the store and actually shop? I'm like, no. Amazon is so convenient that you get all these things, and either you have a hard time returning it because you never get to returning it, or you just buy random stuff because it's so easy for you to do. I saved thousands of dollars from being off Amazon for 1 month.
Yeah.
And so I went back on it actually, it's February 2nd. And I'm now trying to be intentional about, okay, I just need to order once a month. That's it. And if I do need to get stuff, then I'll go to the store, but then I'm intentional about going to the store about the things that you need. And it's silly to say that or think about that because even, all my friends are like, that's it's so convenient. It's more a convenience factor for you. I'm like, no, it's not when you have hundreds of dollars of unnecessary things that you picked up over whatever the course, because it's so easy to do. Do I think it's convenient? Is absolutely convenient. But because of that ease of convenience, it's made it way too easy to use.
Yes.
Just like with even social media. But I also, for 2026 for myself, same thing. Like we're following the path of doing the birthday card connections, which thank you for that. Because as much as I joke around about how hard it is, like I went to an open house on Saturday and I brought out my big envelope and, we were sitting there chatting and all this good stuff. And as we're talking, I knock out 12 cards.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing now.
It's
Where it
nothing.
used to be like, oh my goodness, I got to get to 2 a day, one
Yeah.
a day, 2 a day or whatever. But what that's also done is from all of the text messaging we did from the holiday, right? That was a goal of ours, was to text all of our contacts or our clients, happy holidays, whatever it might have been. I'm starting to get people already 2 referrals. They didn't even respond to my text.
Right.
They were just like, hey, Shelly, I need help doing this. Or, hey, I've got a referral for you. And then they're like, oh, thank you so much for reaching out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, oh. So my point in saying is it works.
It does.
When you're being intentional about the things that we are doing and you are reaching out to people because they really do need you, I do feel like that is going to be a level of success that we really can't monetize today, but we know it'll be there in the future. That's so different than, make 10 phone calls or, which isn't horrible, but all of the things where you're like, okay, I want to make $100,000. So backing into this, I have to do this amount of phone calls, this amount of open houses or whatever the case is. I don't know if I'm making any sense on that.
You are. Yeah. For me too, and this is, I guess, a goal as you're talking through this, I would like to not monetize certain things because I tend to do that. Okay, here's what I got to do today because this will pay off the most.
Yeah.
Sometimes that might prevent me from reaching out to a friend that is really hurting and would love to talk to somebody because I'm too busy trying to get business and make money. And so as I've made my list of people, and there's no math to this, it's hit or miss, but some of my days, even while I'm in the office, are reaching out to people that I won't make any money off of because I feel like that's important to me as well. I don't want to be the guy that only does things if I'm going to make money at it. But that's something that is near and dear to my heart that I want to work through, is let go of this fear, or I don't want to say love, but like of never not having enough and whatever, and just putting trust in God that he's got that all handled.
Yeah.
So as you say that, that's one thing for me that I'm working on this year as well, is don't just make calls on your on your normal days and on the weekends, whatever. Do cards for people that you know are never going to give you any business for whatever reason, or they're done or whatever, because you still want to show those people you care about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this is kind of too, like the spiritual aspect, and this is how we'll close, because I feel like it's really important that we do bring this up. But at the end of 2020, or I guess it was beginning of 2026, we sat down, or end of 2025, we sat down and this is the first time in the years that we've been together, like in partnership, said, hey, let's really talk about what this looks like in alignment for ourselves, for our team. And I think for you and I, we also said what this looks like spiritually for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're both believers. And I feel like even more so today, we are wanting to minister to, in my head, we were like, well, I've been called to minister, but I don't want to go speak at a church. I'm not going to become a pastor. I'm not going to go and get ordained or whatever the case is. I don't know.
You might.
Maybe. Who knows? But I do, as we've gone through different things, and even in the community calls, I feel that's our level of ministry. And I didn't realize that's that, right? And also now to our clients, where it used to just be, or in my head, okay, I'm ministering, I'm saying these things to my team. So my team knows I'm spiritual, and that's an aspect of it. Now I've gotten into the community calls, and part of that is spiritual. And so now I'm ministering to that. But then even to our clients, like having the conversations about, if somebody's sick or they had a recent death in the family, and it's to say, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. But we're also ministering in the way of being able to listen to them for whether they need anything from us. They probably don't need anything from us,
right,
and just other than an ear. And I just think that shift of true intention for us. For me, I'm very grateful for the partnership that we have, but I do know that, again, season, reason, lifetime, right? This aspect of our growth, personal growth, spiritual growth, maturity, whatever you want to call it, has led to more fulfillment in the things that we're doing today, whether it's note cards, whether it's
Right.
text messages, whatever it might be. So I don't know if that's different for you or how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it goes back to the trusting God with the money. I would say that in years past, I would probably want to talk about my faith more, but I was always so worried that I was going to rub somebody the wrong way or scare them, and then I'd lose business. And I didn't want to take a chance like losing any customers.
Yeah.
I'm probably still not out there as much as you are. But what I will do now is if I feel like there's an opening, I'll take it. I won't think twice and I'll jump in. And then if it doesn't go the way I think it's going to go, then I'll just gently back off. But I've never met a person ever when you said, I'm going to pray for you, for them to just go, oh, that's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. Even if they're not a
Yeah.
believer, they thank you, because people want people to care about them and think about them and be there for them. So, but that is definitely one thing that I'm probably a little bit behind you on.
I don't know.
But I'm out there more, and
Yeah.
and that's what makes me happy, is that I'm doing it now, where in years past I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
There's no fear of repercussion, because we've talked about, if anybody doesn't like me because of my faith in God, then they're not right for me anyways. And,
Right.
Right. He'll find me the right people who are supposed to be in my life. So
Yeah.
I would also say with partnership, it's like any marriage or partnership or whatever. As you get older, people change. I mean, I met my wife when I was in my 20s. I'm a completely different person now than I was in my 30s and even my 40s and mid 40s. Same with our partnership. We talk about Frosty Fridays and all that stuff. We're just totally different. I feel like the good partnerships and marriages that work are the ones that kind of change together. My wife and I always talk about this, is how we wanted to raise the kids, where we wanted to live, what we thought was best for us, our vacations, all that have always kind of aligned in life. And that's why we're still together. Those are the good partnerships and marriages. As you change, because you will and I will, we still have the same core beliefs. And I think if you have that, then you can make a partnership or a marriage work a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. And I also see that in our realtor relationships, our strategic partners, like our title and even our CPAs and all that. If you're in alignment with them, and it's not to say that they all have to be believers or any of that stuff, but it's that alignment aspect of it that brings a joy into our business and really makes it worthwhile in doing the hard stuff with each other, or walking through life together and seeing the ups and downs and talking through different scenarios of what might be happening in each other's lives. It changes just the element of even work, right? It's not work anymore.
Yeah. I'm making a lot less money than I did in the peaks, but I'm having a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And you challenged me to this probably about a year ago now. You said, all right, I'm going to take you back to when you were making the most money you'd ever made a couple of years prior. But you also get that stress. Do you want it? And what was my answer? No.
You're like, hell no.
Hell no. There's got to be a better way. And so
Yeah.
we're kind of, I'm like starting fresh, starting over. And I realize there's going to be an income setback with that, but I'm prepared for it. It's been more fun. I'm learning a lot more. It's been exciting, way more enjoyable. I'm meeting new people that I years past would have never even talked to. I've even had people meet me and go, man, I thought you were the biggest a-hole in the world. Like you're nothing like I thought.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling. So less money right now, but way more enjoyable, more fulfilling, more meaningful work for sure.
Well, I always say you're going to go through a breakdown to hit a breakthrough, and it's that hockey stick effect where the trajectory of what you're onto is just nothing but up, right? And now it's in a place of complete peace, maybe not all the time calm, but definitely where you feel the abundance versus, some of the other stuff and excitement around what's about to come and what's ahead of us and such. So,
well, imagine your first big paycheck, whatever you feel is big, doing it this way now, knowing how hard you're working right now.
Fulfillment, yeah.
I hate to say that maybe in the past some of those were taken for granted because you just didn't even really have time to enjoy them. You were so stressed and on to the next month. In my mind, that first good month again is, you're going to celebrate with everybody and you're going to enjoy it and you're going to be happy, and it's just going to be a different feeling.
You get a car, you get a car,
Yeah.
you get
Maybe
a car.
not that. That's where budgeting comes in.
Right.
But yeah. Yep.
No, I would agree. We always talk about fulfillment and purpose. And I do feel like, we brought God into our lives, into our business, and it has definitely changed the way that business feels today. Like it's not just a job. And now I can say for every client we help, for every team member we help, for every realtor partner that we help, it's all about fulfillment and purpose. More, the closer we get to God, the more the purpose and the fulfillment seems to be being created, and the peace and the calm, which I don't know how to share that with everybody, but I'm like, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but amongst everything that's going on, I have the same world that you have. I have such peace and calm because I have such faith around what I'm supposed to be doing in my life is right today, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Any parting words that you want to share for our viewers? Stories?
The only thing I would say, I thought about this, last night and into this morning, and you're a good example of this because you do coaching. I don't do coaching. I mean, I like talking to people and kind of being their therapist and talking through mental health and stuff like that. And we would never say to somebody else the negative things that we say to ourselves, right? I mean, that's a given. But one thing I realized last night and this morning is when you're coaching somebody and somebody makes strides and they do things well, what do you tell them? Great job, all your hard work paid off, etc. We're not doing that to ourselves.
True.
So if you just took a minute to coach yourself, and I did that this morning, I'm like, all right, Jared's going to coach Jared. And it truly was, look how far you've come. Look at everything that you're doing. Look at, the Bible verse this morning was...
it's 2 Corinthians 12:10. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I'm weak, then I am strong.
Right. And so we talk about when you're weak, you're strong. So I'm looking back over all those times where I was weak or I struggled, whatever. That's when God got the best out of me. And so I just put my coaching hat on for me for a minute. And I was like, good for you. Anytime something is thrown your way, you handle it. Might not be the best way, but you handle it. You deal with it. You don't go run and hide. You figure out a way to get back on top. And, my trainer tells me that, like, look how far you've come. And so I would say that was for me. I would challenge you to do the same for yourself. Not that you've privately expressed that, whatever. It's just coach yourself sometimes too, because I really, it was a good feeling to have me tell me, like, you've come a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's still way more to come, but like, let's stop and acknowledge everything that you've done so far.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, professionally. And so, I don't know, that was just the thought I had this morning, and you kind of put me on the spot, so I figured I would say that.
Well, no, I appreciate that. And I appreciate that because I do agree with you. We are our own worst enemies. And we, they talk about like, 10 people can tell you you're great, and then that one person tells you you're not, and that one person sticks into your head. But that one person is you.
I was going to say sometimes that one person is you.
Yes. Yeah. So in working through that, I love that thought. Just, talk to yourself, love yourself. One of my old girlfriends used to say, be nice to my friend. Like, be nice to my friend, and in the things that you're doing. But I have seen your growth, and I truly appreciate you. You say you're not a coach, but I promise you in the last 10 years that we've been, in this world, I know it's been longer that we've been partners, but that mentor-mentee role has definitely flipped. You're a big mentor to me. You're a huge motivation to me. I appreciate you as just a human being and just a person in my life. I hope it'll be for a lifetime that
I'm sure it will be.
we're together. But thank you for taking the time today to spend some time talking about all the things in our world.
Of course.
I know we'll come back to, we'll definitely come back to this again. We'll do another cycle of this, but I just want to
Sounds
say
good.
thank you. I'm so
Anytime.
grateful for you.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got a lot of nuggets. You definitely got 2 books out of this. If you want to join our Ninja community, feel free to message us. If you like this information or you know somebody who may need some help and just wants a friendly phone call from one of us, please take this and share this to that person. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.
See you later.
Bye.